may be seated. Good morning. Well, I can't tell you what a privilege it is to stand here today as the superintendent of this district and look out into the crowd and see what an overwhelming support that we have in this community. I have so many thanks to give, and we have a great program set out for you today. I hope you don't mind, we've taken 6 months to plan this event, and so we're going to take a little bit of time. We're not in a hurry. We want to take a little bit of time to recognize some folks, and so again, I appreciate you guys being here, and the support has been overwhelming. I have so much to kind of go through, and then we're going to start our recognition of the colors and the national anthem. We're going to do that in just a second. But if you would, I think there's so many individuals that I want to thank today. For me, it really does take a village to put this thing together. There's so many individuals that have really played a large hand in putting this program together today. The first, I would be remiss if I did not mention the AAUSD Board of Trustees. We have several individuals that are here today. We have Mr. Layton, Larry Layton, he's here. We also have Mark Costasso, he's a board member. And we have Matt Reitenauer, he's the clerk of the board. We have Debbie Rocha as the vice president of the board. And then Ed Porter, our president of the board. We started discussing this a long time ago with the board back in the spring, and we had several conversations about core values and what it meant to this district to become one of those that really began to shape and change the culture of who we are. And how do we designate what that is? What are our core values as it relates to this district? These individuals, we've had several conversations, and at the same time also, they've kind of been drug along, to be honest with you. The entire community has been put together, and they have yet to set policy as it relates to these core values. I'm really looking forward to working with the board and really establishing what those core values are as it relates to board policy. And we will embed it in the culture. We're going to embed it in our policies and our practice. And those are the things that these ladies and gentlemen are going to be critical in helping me do that. So I look forward to it. There's some specific people I wanted to thank. I think, again, I would be remiss if I did not. The High Desert and the BHS faculty and staff, if you are a member of that staff, would you please stand up? Faculty and staff, would you please stand up? These are the individuals that without them in those roles and really putting this together, I would not have this opportunity to stand here. I mean, it's not, honestly, it hasn't been about me. It's been about the students that are behind you. It's been about these faculty members that have put in a ton of time, effort, and energy to put together the classes, the schedules, the times, as far as the lesson plans. All of those things have been designed by our faculty, and of course, obviously the grounds and the crew, and all of those individuals have put in a ton of time. Specifically, I wanted to mention a couple different faculty members. Larry Rowland, Joan Millar, and Diane Spiegel. Those individuals really put together a lot of effort. As you know them in this community, they're incredible teachers, and they have done nothing but great things for this program and for the school and those students. And again, I can't thank you enough for your efforts, and I know you go way above and beyond the call of duty. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. There's 3 specific teachers I wanted to mention, for without their involvement and without them actually attending a conference in the summer, again, we would not be here today. Those individuals are Heidi Miller, Elizabeth Miller, and Marilyn Alford. Will you please stand up? started mentioning it as a leadership team in the spring, and we talked about it with the board, is all we had to say to, and again, these three individuals went to a conference and we just mentioned, here's some things we're thinking about. We're trying to find a connection. We really hadn't found the connection to core values yet. And so they ended up going to a conference, and lo and behold, the Medal of Honor folks were so impressed by them and just their zest for the program and their zeal that when they brought that back, it was at that point they emailed me and said, wow, you got a great faculty, you got a great staff. What do you think about, you know, taking that to the next level? And that's where these individuals have really played a great part. And again, to those three specifically, I appreciate your effort, appreciate your leadership. And as we have one of our 6 essentials of shared leadership, that's demonstrated shared leadership. They took that, they took the bull by the horn, so to speak, in this case. And again, thank you so much for that, and I appreciate all of your effort. Obviously, one of the great components of this program is great leadership. And for that, we have Stephanie Nahar, who is the principal of this school, and her work she's done. And you'll hear me repeatedly say this as we go through this process. I'm only going to be as good as those individuals that are working in this district. And for that, obviously, I'm going to look fantastic, because of individuals like Stephanie Nahar and the teachers that I mentioned previously. And again, trust me, it's about these individuals that have done the work that have gotten us here today. I can't again thank you enough for your time and effort. And we're talking about emailing each other at 2 o'clock in the morning and Saturday and for the last several months. So again, tons of work she's put in. I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you. I have several individuals and VIP individuals I'd like to introduce. The first one is Lieutenant Colonel Gene F. Cummins. And of course we have our Air Force Band of the Golden West Travis Ensemble. Tops it off, doesn't it? I really love the Air Force Band, and as you get to, you know, obviously I was in the military and spent a lot of time, and it really makes it a great event. So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you attending this event. Thank you. We also have with us today, we have from Edwards Air Force Base, Blue Eagles National Color Guard. And we also have with us Jennifer Lennon. She's the Vice President of Congressional Medal of Honor Character Development Program. To kind of talk to her about the development of the program and what it was as a national different program. And again, this really hits home for me, and I appreciate all of your efforts in really establishing this as an incredible program on a national scale. Thank you once again, and let's hope that it spreads. We have with us today Noelle Wall, which is a manager of the Congressional Medal of Honor Character Development Program. We have with us Allison O'Brien, and she is the producer of the Rock Center NBC with Brian Williams. We also have our NBC film and audio crew, and they've been fantastic. All of these individuals. We have Mike Dabby, who's a correspondent for MSNBC News. We have, who is not here today, and I wanted to introduce, but obviously this gentleman could not be here today. He'll be here tomorrow, and he's also a Medal of Honor recipient, Colonel Jack Jacobs, and he's also a military analyst. And so we're going to really look forward to meeting him as well. And in hindsight, obviously, this gentleman, Dr. Irvin Howard, I really do appreciate you coming today and supporting us. This gentleman is the president of the National Forum of Schools to Watch. And again, a lot of this precipitated from that prestigious award that we got last year, and it really kind of mothballed in a lot of different things. And again, I appreciate your presence as well and continued support of the school. Thank you for being here and your direct support. There's so many other individuals, I don't even know if you'll see her here, but Lee Jennings is probably running around doing something. She's been incredible in terms of her support of this program. Thank you, Lee. She does not get near the credit that she deserves. Thank you. We also have our Boy Scout troop. Are they here today? There they are. These young men have been incredible for us as well. Thank you. We also have our Girl Scouts. Where are they? We have our CHP, we have the fire department, we have our sheriff's department. All of these individuals have helped us tremendously and continue to support us. They honestly kind of paved the way and allowed us to hang our banner on the freeway. And you know, with Caltrans and the work with those, again, I can't have enough respect for both of those agencies, and with our fire department, all of them deserve a lot of credit for establishing a safe and community that we live in. Thank you, gentlemen. I could go on all day about this last individual, and I won't, even though I told you I'm going to take a little time. But this individual, again, without her, Dorothy Daniels, we would not be here today. Dorothy has put in an inordinate amount of time on this project. And again, as those three teachers went through the conference, and then I was emailed, and we had some correspondence via email, and it's all I basically did is, you know, sick Dorothy on it. And here we are today. You can see all of this has been arranged and coordinated, and she's, you know, gone above and beyond my wildest expectation. My only problem is, now what? I mean, the bar is so high. How are we ever going to, you know, kind of replicate this at some point? So, again, Dorothy, thank you so much. I appreciate all of this. If you will also look at your program on the back page, it's an amazing amount of individuals that have put together a sponsorship and continue to support us. And again, let me reiterate, and I've said it in the paper a few times, but none of this was paid for by district funds. It was all through volunteers. It was all through donations to the district. 100% of it was paid for by donations through these individuals on the back page. Thank you so much. It's amazing what happens when you put it out there that you're looking at a core values program. It's near and dear to my heart that we begin to take a look at and go beyond just basically teaching the cores of reading, math, writing, all those things. In terms of the core of instruction, we have to really begin to develop good citizenship. And this is one of those things that, as we talked about it in the spring, was something that I really wanted to attach to as a district, if you will, a vision. And this just resonated with me, obviously, from my military background, and I have a son that's actually in Afghanistan as well. And it's something that it's really near and dear to my heart. I can't tell you how much I just honor these gentlemen that are here today. It's a proud privilege to stand here and sit beside you and know what sacrifice that you had for our country. We've heard this before. And I don't think anybody really understands it until you've actually may have served or been in a situation like these gentlemen have. But, you know, freedom isn't free. And we know that. There's some that have paid a dear price. These gentlemen will be able to tell you some stories about what that is. And again, as we go through today, again, I want you to understand that this is entirely about you as the student body, which is sitting behind you. It is about these young ladies and gentlemen that we intend to begin to explore core values and talk about what they are and develop some of them as a district and a vision for everything that we do. The great thing about it for me is it does have this military connection, and it has the national connection in terms of patriotism. There's nothing more I love besides my family other than God and country, number two. And this is something, again, that resonated with me, and I hope it does with you. And as we go forward today, you'll see exactly why we're doing this today. It's the beginning. This is not the end. And as I said, we got a pretty large bar to leap over the next few years. But again, this is the beginning. And the ladies and gentlemen that are sitting out there today, those are our future in terms of this community. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we develop their character. We develop some of these core values in them, if that's exactly what, again, will populate this community in the future. So, without further ado, I, again, sincerely appreciate your support. The VHS cheer team, appreciate you guys coming out, and the dance team. We have a couple other individuals I'll wait until the closing remarks to introduce. But with that, I'd like to also now introduce once again Stephanie Nahar, the principal of High Desert School.
Thank you very much. We are very proud to host this once-in-a-lifetime event. And at this time, I respectfully request for everyone to please silence your cell phone. We're going to begin our program. Thank you so much. I am proud to present the United States Air Force Honor Guard, Edwards Air Force Base. At this time, I would like our two fifth grade students to please come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We have one representative from Meadowlark and one from Agua, Dulce. Please come up on stage and stand beside us.
Put your hand on your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
Love you, some Brady.
Oh, stop. Sorry.
Please be seated.
I did too, but stop.
They're oblivious.
At this time, I'm proud to introduce one of our own students, Mr. Chase Moskovitz. Come on up here. Chase is one of our 6th grade students, and he will be introducing our honored guests.
Hello and welcome. My name is Chase Moskovitz and I'm a 6th grader here at High Desert Middle School. I am extremely honored to be introducing these 2 true American heroes that have both received the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor is the highest award for valor in action against an enemy force which can be bestowed upon an individual serving in the armed services of the United States. The Army Warrior Ethos. I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. These are the words that these men live by. Our first recipient is Colonel Bruce P. Crandal. In November of 1965, he led the 1st Major Division operation of the Vietnam War, leading elements in the Battle of Ai Dren. During that fierce battle, he was credited with evacuating approximately 70 wounded soldiers, along with wingman Major Ed Freeman. Colonel Crandall's helicopter evacuated more than 75 casualties during a flight day that started at 6 a.m. and lasted more than 16 hours later. During the battle, he flew 22 missions. Taking a helicopter into enemy fire to bring ammunition and supplies and also to evacuate the wounded. The helicopter he was flying was unarmed. By the end of the Vietnam War, he had flown over 900 combat missions. He had also been awarded the Purple Heart, Bronze Star, and 4 Distinguished Flying Crosses. And in February of 2007, he was awarded the Medal of Honor by President George Bush. Our second recipient is General Patrick Henry Brady. During the Vietnam conflict, he served with the Medal Service Corps flying the UH-1H Huey Air Ambulance helicopters. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for piloting 4 extremely dangerous rescue flights in the Vietnam of January 1968. These were the flights that even the Med-Evac refused to fly. During his courageous airmanship, 51 wounded men were safely evacuated while serving as a helicopter pilot in the Vietnam War. He received the Medal of Honor. During his 2 tours, he flew over 2,000 combat missions and evacuated more than 5,000 wounded. He has also been awarded the Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, 6 Distinguished Flying Crosses, Legion of Merit, Defense Superior Service Medal, Army Service Medal, Army Distinguished Service Medal, and the Distinguished Service Cross. Please rise and help me welcome these 2 heroes.
Nice to hear all those wonderful things about ourselves, realize what fine fellows we are. I'm happy that my wife could be here to hear what a fine fellow I am. I just wish my wife's mother could be here to hear I want to start off and say how lucky, how fortunate you folks are to be in a community like this. Bruce and I, my older friend here, visit a lot of schools around the country. And honest to God, the way we've been treated, the preparation, the excellence that we've seen in this school district and this school, I don't think we found it any better anywhere. And as is always the case, it's... All right, I'm talking. As is always the case, it's a function of leadership. There's no question that you have great, great, great leadership, and we're just excited to be here. I know you're excited to see me, the greatest helicopter pilot that ever lived, and the second greatest helicopter pilot that ever lived. You get both in the same place. But many years ago...
Is it hot? Don't pay any attention to that.
The Medal of Honor Society, you talk about character, and you talk about courage, and you talk about sacrifice, and you talk about patriotism, and all those great things. Character is what we're really about. The character development program of the Medal of Honor Society. Character, of course, is defined, they say it's who you are when nobody else is around. But character really is the you that God knows. That's who you really are. And that's the thing that we want to work on. They say that many of us, if we could live our lives over again, might do things differently. I know that if I'm not the man I would have liked to have been, we can't live it over for ourselves, but we can live our lives over again for young people. And so that we can teach young people to go around some of the obstacles that we stumbled over. And I always tell the story that I really screwed something up bad one time, and I was feeling terrible about it. And my boss says, "Pat, don't feel bad. Nobody is a total failure. They can always serve as a bad example." So we are here, kind of, especially him, as bad examples, and we want to define for you folks some of these through vignettes. You've heard of the First Tee program, where golfers, professional golfers, are used to teach young people integrity, things that are essential to the game of golf. We're here to teach young people things that this medal symbolizes: courage, sacrifice, patriotism, and things like that. Have you got anything intelligent to say?
Well, aside from your realizing who was the best helicopter pilot, everything you said I agree with. The greatest thing that happens to all of you young folks is either being born here as an American or being brought here as American. And being in a community like this is tremendous. We're really proud of what we've seen. And as you grow up, you're going to be our leaders, and you're going to be setting the example for our country. In front of you, students are the people you should have as heroes. These police officers and the firemen and the teachers and the staff and the school board, and all of those people serve the community and serve you and are willing to do the best that they can to make your life better. And it's your responsibility to do the things that are necessary for you to be better. I was not a good example all of my life. My best years were after I got married and my wife started straightening me out. A lot of you know that experience if you're older. I'm a very proud father of 3 sons. My wife and I were married for 54 years before I lost her. The boys all have master's degrees, so that they were all Eagle Scouts. And we lived in 53 different homes. And that was really in 44 years because my wife and I had the same house for 10 years after I retired. You're going to find, all of you young folks are going to find that you're going to have more than one career. Your career right now is students, but in life you will have 2 different careers. And be prepared to realize that your most important career will be your family. And hopefully you'll populate this school or schools like it in the Palmdale area to be sitting in the front rows at some future date. I will hope that Pat lets me have the mic last so I can correct all of that stuff.
Okay, that's enough. Like everything else, I'm one better than Bruce. He was an All-American baseball player. He hit like .614. I hit .615. He was married 54 years. I was married 55 years, and my wife is right here. Still, stand up, dear. Show them what good care I've taken of you.
She is a very patient woman. I'm surprised that she hasn't killed him.
You know, we don't believe that we did America a favor by our service and what we did. We believe that God did us a favor by allowing us to be born in this country. And America has no kings or queens, no dukes or duchesses, but as I look out there, I see some folks who are the real nobility in America. We do have a nobility, and America's nobility is called veterans. And if it weren't for them, we would not have freedom, justice, anything, anywhere in this country. So remember that. The veterans are so very important to you, and to our country. But the whole purpose of this character development program of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society is to help people to realize that combat has nothing to do with being a hero. That we want all young people to grow up and to be heroes. We get honored to death because of some of the things that we have done, but it's the moral courage, the courage of your teachers, your policemen. It's the moral courage. Physical courage can win a ball game, physical courage can win a battle, but moral courage will change the world. And so we start by talking to young people, I do, about the one way in which we are all born equal. Certainly not in terms of ability, certainly not in terms of opportunity. You look around, you see people smarter, bigger, faster, stronger than you are, better looking. So I'm so much better looking than Bruce. And you see people who were given greater opportunity than you were. But in the one way that really counts, we are all born equal. And that's in terms of courage. Each of us can have all the courage we want. You just can't use it up. And courage is the great equalizer in life. It creates great people from people who did not have great ability or who were not given great opportunity. They had courage. And that's the one way in which we are all born equal. Now, what's the source of courage? And people wonder and ask us about that. For me, the source of courage was faith. It was the only thing that I've ever been able to articulate to explain the things that I've seen people do in combat and in the drill of daily duty, trying to do what's right in the everyday challenges that we have, the conflicts that we have between our passions, our desires, and those wonderful things called our ideals. Now, I can explain my faith. I wouldn't try and do it for anybody else, but somehow it's tied to the fact that there's something beyond, someone above and beyond a particular moment. Something worth living for and something worth dying for. And that's what motivated many of us. I've never known anybody with enduring, repetitive courage who was not also a person of faith. So I'll give you some vignettes, but I better let my long-suffering friend here have a little time.
Isn't he nice? He's a retired two-star general, and he was one of the finest aviators in the Army in his day. And he was a dust-off pilot. He set the standard for us in medical evacuation aircraft. And he did such a good job in Vietnam and afterward. He was in the Pentagon, and he developed a lot of the programs that you now have in your communities, where we have helicopters carrying out the wounded, where the people are injured in accidents. You police officers probably get involved in that very frequently. And that came from the battlefield. So Pat was one of the very finest. And he's going to...
I don't know how to handle this. The guy's talking nice about me.
I'm screwing up his mind. Anyhow, he set the standard. I was in a different part of the business. I was in an assault helicopter outfit. My job was to carry troops, put them on the ground, and then bring them back out. If it got hot, I had to carry in the ammo and carry water and make sure the wounded got out. So I had a different career really in combat, but it was all the same, because you have to have an ability to overcome what's going on and think ahead and plan ahead. Now, he says faith. I have faith. I absolutely have never feared dying, because I knew if it was going to happen, my mother-in-law would have done it. But when on the battlefield, I didn't fear dying. I feared screwing up and causing some of my people to die, or some of the people that I supported. So I wanted to make sure I didn't make that kind of mistake. And in my view, you can have a fear, but you can't have it override what your responsibility are, your moral responsibilities in an action. And you young folks are going to have periods in your life when you have to make a decision which way to go, and courage is saying the right thing, doing the right thing. You know what's right and wrong. You didn't get as old as you are without knowing. So you doing the right thing, no matter what your friends are doing, that's critical. And if I urge you to not worry about courage in the military, because courage in the military isn't going to get you anywhere until you're in the military. And we don't advocate service as being service in the military. We advocate service as being service in your community, service in your school, service in your churches, services in the service club, services like you gentlemen are doing, ladies, on the school boards, and making your community a better place to live. And so we're not here to talk about military service. If you want to go into the military, that's outstanding. We encourage it. Go to one of the academies, preferably West Point. It's one of the better academies.
The best academy.
Anyhow, we want to pass the word across the country, have it in every school in the United States by the time that we're finished doing what we're doing. And so that this character development program is across the country, and Jennifer and Noel are carrying it on for us. There's 81 of us living recipients. In 10 years from now, there'll be a dozen. The average age is my age, which is several years older than my friend.
Quite a few years older than that.
I give him all the openings. Anyhow, we consider these programs our legacy. It's what we can leave behind and what we think is the very best of what we can do. So we travel a lot doing it. And to you young folks, God bless you. I hope that your careers are as satisfying as they can be. And I hope that you can solve our national debt by the time you have grandchildren.
Some of the other things that we try to teach the young people is the difference between a hero and a celebrity. We think that's very important. And also, what is a patriot? And I'll give you a vignette about patriot, what a true patriot is. But I got to check and see how we're doing time-wise. We're good to go?
You shouldn't have told me
Okay.
that.
So, let's start with patriotism. Some people have said that patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel. Actually, it's the last refuge of a free people. A patriot is not a person who says they love their country. A patriot is someone who proves their love by supporting and defending their country. Support and defend are the two key issues. And I think this was brought home to me more strongly than anything I've seen in battle or anything anywhere than by the example of a great friend of mine, great black soldier, big powerful guy named Webster Anderson. Webster Anderson was in charge of a detachment of artillerymen on a hill in Vietnam in the middle of a tropical storm. And his position was overrun by the enemy, and in the initial onslaught, they pretty much took off both of Webster's legs. Still, he fought on. Later on, in another attack, they threw a hand grenade into his position. Webster caught the hand grenade, and when he was trying to throw it away from his men, it pretty much took off his arm. I flew in later that evening to pick up what was left of Webster and the rest of the wounded there. They got him to the hospital, and remarkably, they were able to save his life. But they didn't save his legs, nor did they save one of his arms. Now, Webster and I became very close. He thought I saved his life. Truth was that the physicians were the ones who saved his life. So we would go to gatherings like this, like the classrooms. Webster, the prosthesis they had in those days were not like the ones today, which are truly remarkable. And he could still stand.